If you are a parent, then you know this time of the year can be really hard with littles because there is so much illness going around. And we tend to know that when our kids get sick, it tends to linger. And it's really hard to just make your child comfortable and make sure that they're feeling okay and getting their immune system to respond immediately and then properly to get over this illness. And so we often see a couple illnesses, and one of them is the croup. So the croup is something that I used to get as a child all of the time. Probably every year, twice a year, I would get diagnosed with the croup. And it's very common in children about 6 months to 3 years old. And it's typically characterized by a really deep barking cough, sometimes labored breathing. It definitely gets worse at night. And so when you see your child having this coughing attack, and it sounds so almost guttural, like it's just like that barking sounds so awful. You know your child's not feeling good. You know they're not comfortable. What can you do to help with something like the croup? Well, if you suspect the croup, going to a doctor to get diagnosed is definitely one of the first steps. Typically, they will use a stethoscope, listen to the lungs. They might take an x-ray, not always, but they will listen to that cough and kind of characterize if they think it's that barking cough, and then they will rule out some other things, might do some other testing, and go from there. And typically, the recommended treatment is going to be a corticosteroid. And so steroids are really great to reduce inflammation, which is what you're experiencing when you have the croup, but it's not the cause of the croup. And so we know that any kind of medication like that is going to have some short-term, long-term effects. Sometimes it's very needed, life-saving things. Other times you can do more natural things at home. And so people will start to question, well, why is this child always getting sick and not my other child? Or just, I can't go outside. I can't go to these Christmas festivities and see the lights and all of this because I don't want to be exposed to germs for my child. But there's a very interesting thought of we can be exposed to germs and not get sick if our immune system is healthy. And if our immune system and our nervous system are ready to fight disease and illness, then you can be exposed to a lot of germs and still not come down with something like the croup. And so there's really fascinating stories and research about even things like conjoined twins, where they share a lot of internal organs together, but they don't share the same immune system or nervous system or spine. And so one of them can have a really great immune response and the other one can get sick all of the time, even though they're exposed to the exact same things and are sharing blood. So it's really interesting to, change the mindset from I can't go outside in the cold because I'll get cold, which is what our parents always said, or, if someone coughs on you, you're automatically going to get sick. 2, my body is as healthy as it can be. I am providing it with all of the things to make sure my immune response is good. I am lowering my stress. I am doing all of the healthy home eating, home remedies in terms of like elderberry. I'm prepared for my immune system to increase that response and make sure that my body is as healthy as possible. And so we know that when our immune system is ready to fight germs, then it can do so, and we don't necessarily come down with illness back to back to back. But if we have things, stressors in our body, our lives, that's going to weaken our immune system. So we know things like birth trauma are going to start off with a weakened immune system for little ones. We know just things early and on in life, whether that is exposure to things like heavy metals or mold or parasites, all of those things can weaken our immune system, and it's really common to happen. And so if we can reduce that stress load on our immune system, we can make sure that's one step to making sure that our body is ready and healthy to get over whatever we're experiencing. People always, are very proud, like, I haven't been sick in 5 years. That's not necessarily a good thing, because if, say, you were to eat something poisonous, bad food, whatever it might be, you want your body to respond. You would like to have food poisoning so that your body can expel it. That's what it's supposed to do. So it's not always a great thing if your body just has no response. You should probably get sick at least once a year, and it can be very minor. It's really more of a true measure of health if you get sick and get over it very, very fast. It's not a measure of health to never get sick, because it means your immune system is not actually kicking on. It doesn't have the power, it doesn't have the energy, the wherewithal to kick on when it needs to. And so if your child has croup, these are some things that I do at home to make sure my children would be comfortable, things that would be kind of in my medicine cabinet, my arsenal. But of course, to keep kids comfortable, being hydrated is going to be the number one thing, which ultimately the croup should not be too hard because they're not losing any liquids. So being hydrated is super important. Having a humidifier can really help. doing things like warm and cold air, so kind of alternating that for the lungs so things aren't settling into those lungs. And then of course my number one medicine cabinet thing that I use at home is going to be chiropractic care. So if my children are sick, my children actually come to the office every week to get adjusted. I don't do that at home because I want someone else to adjust them and use their eyes to see what I'm not, but my children come into an office where they're being exposed to more germs to get adjusted because there's many great things that come with that. I want them to have germ exposure, but they're coming to get adjusted to help their immune system. So chiropractic care is going to do a lot of things. It does so many wonderful things. One of those is going to be it reduces inflammation. So if we're having an illness, if we're exposed to germs, inflammation, our inflammatory response should kick on immediately. And so it can reduce that inflammation and help us kick on that response. So that's a very big perk of chiropractic care. It's also going to increase our respiratory function. So within your mid-back are all of the nerves that are responsible for your lungs, for every piece of that respiratory system. There's so many little things that work together within your lungs, your thoracic cavity. And so getting adjusted within that upper back area is going to help those nerves really turn on and do what they should do within the body. And then of course, getting adjusted is going to help with our sleep. It's going to help with our digestion, and it's definitely going to help with our resilience overall. So if your child is sick, if their immune system or immune response is lacking and you know it's a struggle for them, doing a more natural, holistic approach and finding out, is there extra stress in the body? How do we reduce that inflammation? Is chiropractic care a great option for us? We are happy to help you with any of those questions, help you navigate your next steps, and look forward to hearing from you.